watching the Coaches Show with Kedrick Harris and Joe Roberts. It's another week, another day, another dollar, and I guess I won't finish that last part of that.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right, Coach. Welcome to your show
Thanks.
for another week. We started 10-4A last week against those old Huffman Falcons, and man, for one half of a game,
Mhm.
you guys looked like world beaters.
Mhm.
That was pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Don't go there. I see where your mind's going. Don't do that. Don't
No,
do
it
that.
was. Played a good half of football, first half. Um, did some things differently offensively. Um, Controlled the ball. Was able to run the ball down on them pretty good. Control the clock. And, got a few stops defensively, which in turn, gave us a chance. Won the first half for sure.
Well, Coach, prior to the game, I feel like, and I never understood this until I started doing this sort of commentating and whatnot, that,
Yes, sir.
people bet on high school games. I don't know why they do that, but
Hmm.
they do. And so there's a betting line on this, and I think the betting line was something like we were picked to get beat by, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 touchdowns,
Mhm.
something wild.
Right.
You came out and you totally changed up what you had been doing,
Yes, sir.
and they were not prepared for that at all.
Right. Well, you always try to save it for district, right? Preseason doesn't necessarily matters. I mean, obviously you want to win all of them, but district play is what really counts. And
Mhm.
so, we thought perfect, no other time than now, right? So,
Mhm.
came out, gave them something different offensively, and like I said, it gives us a chance, and
Yeah.
that's all we want at the end of the day.
So they open up the game, they score pretty quickly,
Hmm.
and then all you do is march all the way down the field, and I think you ate up about 5 or 6 minutes on that first
Oh
offensive
yeah,
series, capped off with a touchdown.
yeah, absolutely. And then we can take that time off the clock and then be able to actually, punch it in and get points out of the drive, which is, it's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah. They came back, they scored,
Hmm.
and then you did another sort of long drive.
Hmm.
And the most exciting thing to me was that special team. I don't know if you called it, but you had to have called it
Yeah,
because
the
Diego,
onside
the
kick.
onside
Oh
kick,
yeah, we
that
called it.
was as good of an onside
Hmm.
kick as I've seen a high school kid do in a number of years.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, talking with the coaches, we didn't have great kickoff coverage, and so I think Gerardo was asking like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Coach, let's onside it," and it gave us a chance to steal a possession from them, which we did, which
Hmm.
in turn turned into 2 points, which gave us the halftime lead, 21-14. And going into that game, I think I said it on this show. I think I was on the Vindicator pregame and said the same thing. A team like that, you got to play really clean
Mm.
to give yourself a chance. And for the first half, we played really clean. We didn't beat ourselves. We didn't turn the ball over. We got a few stops defensively, and we stole a possession. And now we got
Well, you did more than steal a possession there. Ross and I calling the game, and I think Huffman only touched the ball offensively in the second quarter for maybe 1 minute.
to. And that was towards the end of the
And that
half.
was,
Yeah.
and then you got a big defensive stop
Right.
to prevent them from putting points on the board.
Yes, sir.
And I know we don't like to throw around the word perfect, but that second quarter for you guys was as close to perfect
Hmm.
as you could probably draw it up.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I was telling the kids this. You look back at all 4 games, and outside of the East Chambers game, which was down at the half 14 points, but every other game, halftime we had to leave versus Cold Spring, we had to leave versus Huffman, and we was tied going in with Splendor. And so, I think the word last week was discipline.
Hmm.
Now we just got to learn how to finish, and not getting too comfortable whether we're up by a touchdown or down by a touchdown. And uh, part of maturing as a team is being able to handle both the adversity and the success that you're going to have on the football field,
Right.
and that's where we're at.
Well, It's always a tale of two halves. You guys
Absolutely.
went into the locker room. Huffman made some adjustments, and then you did whatever it is that you needed to do. The wheels, I wouldn't say they came off, but there were some adversity in the third quarter.
Oh yeah, that's part of football, right? Things not going to go our way, and part of that maturing process is understanding, hey, when something bad happened, let's fix what we were doing, so bad things don't keep happening.
Right.
And that's what we got to get. That's what we got to get better at.
Well, Coach, one of the things that was really nice to see was when those bad things happened, it felt like your boys never lost confidence in the game.
No.
And they kept on battling. You were able to come back, put another score on the board, and then when you look at the score line, it doesn't. It was 19-point loss. You look at that and you think, oh man, no, that wasn't the real
It's a
true
lot
tale of
closer
the
than
game.
the game was a lot closer than the score indicated. But we got to find a ways to score points and to get stops on defense.
Well, I will say that Ross and I were up there commenting about how exciting this game was for the entire time. I mean, you had my heart up, down, left, right.
Well, you should have felt my heart.
well, speaking of that, Coach, you had some friendly conversations with some of the officials during the during the course of the game.
Yeah, man. For one, I got to be better. I have to be better. I actually told our kids that during the game. I said, hey, forget about what happened. Forget about the calls. Like, just go out here and play ball, And no matter how much you argue with the officials, they're not going to ever change the call.
Right.
So I look like the fool arguing with the official about missed calls.
Well, you know what? Sometimes that's good. And I saw it in a movie one time, and when I was coaching soccer, I was out there.
You tried it out.
Well, one of the officials was. I mean, we were pretty friendly with each other. We had a relationship outside of the game, and so
Right.
I knew this guy, and I said, "Hey, man, my boys are playing kind of rough. I need you to throw me out. So I'm gonna yell at you, but it's nothing personal to you. But I need you to throw me out."
Right.
And so he and I had worked it all out beforehand, and I said something, I don't even remember what crazy thing I said, and he's like, all right, Coach, go sit in your car or go get out of here. And it fired up my team, and we ended up winning the game. And I know that's not what you were doing,
Right.
but, sometimes it's good for them to see you
absolutely.
get fired up.
Absolutely. Well, I don't need help getting fired up.
Oh,
for
right.
one. I don't know if you've ever been to a practice or not, but
I've heard you out there.
Yeah, but still, they're not going to change the call. It has to be a next play mentality. So,
Well, there seemed to be a bunch of flags that got thrown in the second half in particular.
Right.
And Ross and I have talked about this beforehand. We really wish that we could figure out a way to get those referees mic'd up. So when they're making their calls,
you probably don't want to hear what they're saying.
well, maybe not, but sometimes it feels like some of the flags that get thrown are because you and the opposing coach aren't understanding whatever it is that they're calling and right or wrong, and maybe there's some miscommunication along the way. And I'm just talking crazy right now. That could be it, may not. But how do you, especially when you're getting that sort of adversity, and I think back to the kickoff return, Aiden Reed had a firecracker of a return.
Oh, yeah.
And way behind the play that had nothing to do with it, there was a flag thrown, holding, and, man, that's got to be a deflator right there.
Oh, yeah, it is.
How do you combat that?
So, once again, we stress to the kids all the time, bad things are going to happen. It has to be a next play mentality, make my next play my best play. And that's kind of what we got to do, just to forget about it. It's over with. They called it. Now, let's be better.
All right, Coach. Last week, Livingston dropped a close one to Hardin Jefferson. They are now 0-4. That's the opponent this week.
Yes, sir.
What are we going to see out of Livingston?
Well, a very physical team. They have pretty good size, but they're physical up front on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And so, we have to match that physicality. And if we do that, I'm going to say it every week, we give ourselves a chance to win the game, and, that they don't want to be sitting at 0-4 or 0-5 right now, neither do we. And so, Like I told the kids, our sense of urgency has to be high, and we're going to go into a hostile
Mm-hmm.
environment, and you know, I don't know if it's a real rivalry or not, but the kid seems to think that it's a rivalry. I don't know. It's the
Well,
battle.
we've played them in so many other sports, not
Okay.
necessarily football, but a lot of other sports they've played in district.
Yeah.
Because you
Well.
know how crazy these. You're in football in one district, and then you're in
So
basketball and
what is
whatever
it? The
else in another
battle of the
district.
Trinity River or something?
Yeah,
Like,
something like that. I would think.
I think we just made that up, but
We might have. We might have just coined that phrase.
right. But so we just gotta not make it about Livingston. Everything has to be about us and how we execute and how we play and how we keep our composure and how disciplined we are, and if we can do those things.
So, Coach Vanover is still in Livingston.
Absolutely.
Okay, it seems like he's been coaching for decades
Yes,
now.
sir.
He was a long-time Dieball Lumberjack coach,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I remember him
Yes, sir.
from. When you're getting ready for a game, and I always forget to ask you this, do you ever call up the other coach? And I don't know if you have any kind of relationship with them, and y'all are just chewing the cud back and forth.
I mean, we talk during the week. Usually we communicate, but so for instance, like Thursday, during the sub-varsity games, some of those coaches on the Huffman staff, like I know personally,
Hmm.
and so we talk before the game and after the game, and but like on Friday, I really don't say much. you know, after the game, I tell them, hey, obviously good luck, but I think I told those coaches from Huffman, I was like, hey, give us a year,
Okay.
and we'll see.
You heard it here first, folks. Give us a year. All right, Coach, your standouts this last week: offense, defense, special teams.
Man, so offensively, it was our offensive line who just paved the way for all of our running backs. Chewed up clock, gave us a chance to win. So they did a really good job. Defensively, it was Wycliffe, who, I think was our leading tackler. He loves coming downhill, making contact, Special teams wise, Aiden Reed, 3 huge returns, I think.
Big returns.
That was the thing I was most excited about. Watching our special teams kickoff return unit improve from what it had been to last week, with the bye. And so, we really challenged those guys to give better effort and to stay on their blocks a little longer. And, man, the proof was in the pudding. I think that was pretty cool when you can flip the field
Oh yeah.
just on kickoff return. You give yourself a chance to leave away with points, especially having a kid like Diego who's pretty sound,
He's a weapon. Right.
Absolutely.
All right, Coach, your message for everyone this week?
Come out to Livingston. Let's get a win.
Now, are they still playing at that old place? They're
Yes,
not
sir.
playing at the high school, the new
Yes,
high
sir.
school yet, right?
Which is crazy to me. But
Yeah, it is wild. They've got this beautiful turf
Yeah.
field and everything.
We'll be on the old
Still
grass,
at
baby.
still at the old place. Okay. All right. Friday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. You've been watching the Coaches Show with Coach Kedrick Harrison, Joe Roberts. We'll see you next time.